This episode is brought to you by Muntins Malts, a company that is passionate about providing premium malts to brewers worldwide. For over a century, Muntins has been a leading supplier of brewing and distilling malts, offering the finest British malted barley on the market. You can experience the difference Muntins offers by joining a recipe receiving tier of our Trub Club, because every kit that ships out now includes premium Muntins malt. You know, we've known the Muntins crew for a long time, and I can tell you, friend, you're going to love brewing with their grains. Ask your local supply shop to carry Muntins malts, or homebrewers can join our Trub Club at homebrewhappyhour.com/club, be a part of the community, and come brew with us. Thank you, Muntins, for supporting our efforts and homebrewers worldwide. Today's show is brought to you by Hopsdirect.com. Grown in the esteemed Yakima Valley on the Peterball family farm, Hopsdirect.com offers the widest variety of hops available online at incredibly competitive pricing. It's simple. They grow hops, they sell hops, and they ship hops straight from their family-owned farm to your doorstep. Producing the highest quality hops is Hopsdirect.com's passion, and they're proud to be an independent grower in the craft beer industry. Go to Hopsdirect.com right now and get what you need to make your brew day better. That's Hopsdirect.com. Today's show is brought to you by Imperial Yeast. You hear us gushing over Imperial Yeast all the time, and that's because their yeast performs for us in every batch that we brew. Imperial Yeast is adored by commercial breweries and home brewers alike. Their pitch-right pouches are jam-packed with over 200 billion fresh yeast cells, guaranteed to deliver flawless, fast fermentations every time. Imperial Yeast strains are grown by a team of pro brewers and home brewers who live to help other brewers learn more and ferment better. Join any recipe receiving tier of our Trub Club and get a free upgrade to premium Imperial Yeast with every recipe kit that ships out to you. Learn more at homebrewhappyhour.com/club and come brew with us.
Entertaining shows with content that spreads information and sparks discourse throughout the community. This is the Pearl Media Network.
Proper PSI for pressure fermentation, what causes regulators to creep, and brewing 5-gallon batches on a Brautag HERMS. This is Homebrew Happy Hour, episode 373. Well, hello and welcome back to another episode of the Homebrew Happy Hour. This is the show where we supply the answers to your homebrewing questions and discuss all things related to craft beer. And if you have a question you'd like us to discuss on a future episode, you could go to homebrewhappyhour.com, click on that submit a question link at the top of the page, or even better, you could call it in to 325-305-6107. Leave us a voicemail, and when I play that voicemail on a future episode, you get yourself a $25 gift card to kegconnection.com. I'm one of your hosts, Joshua Stubing, joined as always by the Director of Operations at cmbecker.com right over there, Mr. James Carlson, and the President and Chief Keg Washer of kegconnection.com, Mr. Todd Burns down there. Gentlemen, hola, ¿cómo estás? Muy bien.
Hola.
Hola.
Hello.
I like it. Hey, that's the most Spanish I've heard. Wait, no, which one of y'all said hola? It was Todd, wasn't it?
Of course.
That's what I was going to say. That's the most Spanish I've ever heard you speak, James. And the well-lit Todd. Whoa, look at you. Whoa.
You are too. We're both so well lit.
We're so well lit. James, I got to get you light now. That's what we got to do. You look fine. You look fine. You look good in your office. I appreciate y'all joining. We're actually doing this early because it's a busy month for Mr. Burns. And I believe, Todd, if we hadn't have recorded early this week with you, it would be 3 weeks in a row you're going to miss. Is that correct? Or are you only missing next week or 2 weeks from now? I forget. I think it is 2 weeks in a row. You're on the road. Yeah, well, you're going to be, what's the trade show y'all even go? What is it called? All it says on the schedule is bar show.
Yeah, it's a bar and What more do you need?
Okay, bar and restaurant.
It's
show.
the Bar and Restaurant
Oh, okay.
Association.
Just said bar show. Like you're so short-handed with your. We have a shared calendar for work stuff, and Todd gets annoyed. In the past, we made this calendar because Todd would get annoyed with me being like, "What are you doing this week?" It's on my calendar. I don't have access to your calendar, so we made a shared calendar, and now I have access. And oh my God, you put everything on the shared calendar. I know.
Oh yeah. He's always asking me, and I'm like, "It's on the calendar, dude."
You do, and
he hates that.
And you hate that I still ask you. It's this perpetuating field.
It's called the Bar and Restaurant Expo. If you were curious, it's in Vegas.
It's in Vegas. And
everything's in Vegas this year. It's really strange.
Yeah, when are y'all going to CBC?
In a month, right? Yeah,
That's
April like 11th, maybe. No.
I'm going to go to this show in like it's in 2 weeks, right? So
yeah, you're flying out 2 weeks from today, and here in a couple days. Well, we haven't been recording on Thursdays for a while, but here in a couple days on Thursday when this publishes, Todd's going to be in St. Marcus because we're installing the premiere. I was going to say inaugural, but it's not an event. The premiere, the first Nitro Fusion kit from Keg Connection.
I think I beg to differ. I think it is an event.
Okay, right. It's the inaugural installation of the premiere, but the Nitro Fusion kit featuring just premium stuff from CMB, our friends at Hubertus Beer, and of course Keg Connection. We've made this really cool, and I'm talking about it. I'll be short because it's not really a consumer product. It is a commercial solution for coffee shops that want to serve nitrogenated cold brew coffee and normal cold brew coffee off the same keg from two different faucets off of the same tower. It's a really cool thing, Todd. We've been putting a lot of effort into it the last several weeks, and it's going to be nice seeing it in action in my hometown, a mile away from my home. It's the coffee shop I walk to basically every Saturday with my kids. We're able to get them on board with test driving it, and we know they're going to love it, so they're going to end up buying it too. So
yeah,
it's going to be good.
I'm excited. We had a lot of fun playing with it. I mean, I'll tell you a short, funny story though. Josh and I filmed like for hours and hours on it, and I was poured like 10 cups of nitro brew, and I was like, oh, I hate to waste. It's just like beer. Like if I film with beer, I get in trouble because if I have to do like 10 takes, because I can't just pour it out. I couldn't do it with a nitro coffee either. So I was like fired up by 4 o'clock, and I could not sleep that night, man. I was wired for like 10 hours after that. Josh.
He was twitching. It was funny. It was funny. And what I actually appreciate about not just you not wasting it, we did a very quick batch because we really, behind the curtain stuff here, guys, the stuff that we filmed, we were doing it for the sake of the visuals, not the taste. So we had to use minced beans.
But dude, it was fantastic.
No, well, that's what I'm getting at.
I had a glass this morning.
That's what I'm getting at, though. I'm saying,
wait a minute, that's not a fair thing, because you're insinuating that I don't buy incredibly good coffee all the time. So when we go to my house and we grab coffee, it's going to be good coffee.
I agree. I'm just saying it was a rad-tad production of we just need the beans to make a batch really quick.
Carefully blended batch.
Batch in a kettle. We did cold brew the proper way, but we had a lot of grounds end up in the keg because of how fast we're doing. I didn't bring.
Oh no, you've never done cold brew with a lot of grounds. If you say that,
okay. Well, what I'm saying is I didn't bring the proper bag to the barn that you thought I said
we actually used the right bag in the end. I mean that we did not have very many grounds in there.
You really think that was
the bag we used was probably as fine or finer than the one that we would have had.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What I was getting towards complimenting, saying the batch ended up being real good, and James had a pour of it the day we put it on when it wasn't even that cold, and it was still good.
Yeah,
that's really good.
Yeah, so all that to say, Mr. Burns, man, I'm putting that on the list of things don't talk about his mama, don't talk about his coffee. My goodness.
Don't talk about my coffee now.
You can talk about my mother.
Talk about my mama, but don't talk about my coffee.
You do buy good coffee. I did want to make a suggestion, though. I like dark roast. You always buy medium roast. Everything you do is medium. Dark roast is more flavorful.
Dark roast is typically used for like espresso or something. Not
no. That's a whole different bean. That's a whole different bean. No, dark roast is just more flavorful and it's lower caffeine. So I wouldn't be so, hey, can we make a batch of decaf if you just bought dark roast? It would be the compromise win-win. Dark roast is...
Except I don't like dark roast. I like medium roast.
Oh, I bet you'd like dark roast. I'm gonna now.
I bought it. I've bought it many times.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna. I
used to buy it a lot when I made like, espressos and stuff.
I don't. But that's a different thing, isn't it? Okay, we're gonna have people writing in and telling us what's the difference on coffee now. But we are about to be the foremost experts on coffee here at the Coffee Homebrew Happy Hour or whatever we end up doing. But anyways, so that was fun. Other small talk that I have. It is, let me see if this is the right screen. It is Kolsch Cup 2024 is coming up April 11th through the 13th, and sign up ends this weekend, my friends. We got up to 30. Now we're back down to like 22. A lot of people did sign up and then people dropped off immediately. They're like, oh, I understand, guys. But to say we have spots available, if you want to sign up, go to kolschcup.com, use the registration link. When I get notified, I'll send you the PayPal invoice. If you're a member of any tier of our patreon.com/homebrew happy hour Trub Club, you get half price admission. So that's $20. That gets you a guaranteed shirt, guaranteed scorecard. And if you make it to the final rounds, you're going to get 2 days worth of scorecards and potentially a runner-up medal, or maybe yours is the best, and you're going to get the fantastically large, comically big trophy.
I haven't seen it.
Well, I haven't. It
hasn't come in yet.
It hadn't come in. I haven't ordered it yet. I was waiting. The shirts haven't been ordered yet because that people who watched last week and are watching this week will notice. I
haven't gotten an update.
I know. That's why I didn't put it back up on the screen. I didn't do an update yet. And so I was waiting for your approval before I started spending money, because you did make the promise if I approved the shirt without your approval, it would come out of my expense reports. So I
don't know if that's technically legal, but we're going to do it anyway.
But I believe you. You've made me believe. It's like my dad, on paper, I think I can beat him up, but he had just sunned me so much in life. I don't want to buck up to him. I think he might. I know I got him, but my brain's like, I don't think you got him. Anyways,
you don't want to go there.
Not to imply my father beat me. He didn't. Great guy. He listens to the show. Dad, I'm sorry. But so kolschcup.com for more information on that. You can still register if you're listening to this before Sunday, whatever that day is, March 8th or 9th. That's the last day, or wait, the 10th maybe. Whatever Sunday is of the first Sunday of March. That's the final day to sign up for Kolsch Cup. And then also we do have a Brew Day Live next week on Friday, March 15th at 10 a.m. Central. Join the fun at youtube.com/homebrew happy hour, where you can watch it live. We're going to be brewing March's recipe kit, which is the West Coast Pale Ale. It's a Sierra Nevada Pale Ale clone, my friends. You can go to patreon.com/homebrew happy hour, join a recipe receiving tier of the Trub Club, and get this delicious kit shipped out to you. We haven't done it in 2 years almost, Todd, that we, for Trub Club at least, and people, we're not, I hate saying like, oh, we love the simple recipes, but we do. They're delicious. They're enjoyable year round. And I've never heard anyone say a bad thing about Sierra Nevada's Pale Ale. In fact, today,
it is a very simple recipe.
It is. That's what I mean. Like that, but I haven't heard anyone ever complain about the commercial version.
Such a good beer.
Such a good beer. And I will say this too for you and I, James. Breweries today that come out with their pale ales that are damn near just IPAs.
They're IPAs, man.
This is not one of them. This is not one of them. This is very much a smooth.
Yeah, because it's got what, 4 ounces of Cascade.
I want to do a yellow rose. I want to do a yellow rose sometime.
Well, I'm having y'all send it with Todd for me. That's the 10-gallon recipe is 4 ounces. The normal.
As soon as we get off here, I'll go upstairs and make it for you.
I appreciate it. The normal recipe, the 5-gallon kits we're shipping out, except for actually we have a couple 10-gallon guys now.
You're so nice, James.
Todd,
I immediately said, Proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance.
No, the thing you said when we started, before James hopped on the call, he had just read my email and he literally said out loud, "Oh, I wish I didn't read that," because he then was going to feel obligated to go.
No.
I know you. I
I'm
know
going
you.
to stop reading emails.
Anyways, the West Coast Pale Ale, again, it's the Sierra Nevada Pale Ale clone. That is I just kind of photoshopped their thing. Sierra Nevada, don't sue us, or at least just send us a cease and desist. But either way, go to homebrewhappyhour.com/club. Actually,
I think they actually list it on their website.
oh, the actual recipe. I'm talking about the artwork. I stole the artwork. Yeah, I stole the artwork. But anyways, don't go to...
That's going to be terrible in court when they play that.
me admitting to stealing their artwork.
Yeah.
It's
you didn't really steal it? Let's go ahead and play this clip.
It's fair use. It's parody.
I stole the artwork.
It's parody or something. I don't know fair use laws. Either way, don't actually go to homebrewhappyhour.com. Go to patreon.com/homebrewhappyhour. Again, join a recipe receiving tier of the club and get this delicious kit shipped out to you the last Monday of the month. Thank you to our sponsors, Muntins Malt, hopsdirect.com, and of course Imperial Yeast, all three providing the premium recipes or premium ingredients going into every monthly curated recipe that we send out to y'all. We could not do this without their support, and more importantly, we could not do this without your support. I'm pointing at you, people watching at YouTube, and if you're listening, I'm talking to you. So yes, thank y'all so much. And then the last bit of small talk I have is just, I'd love more voicemail questions. I've been running through them. We did a crap ton of voicemail feedback. I'm not hurting for feedback right now, but I would love,
Sure we do.
Isn't that funny? That is funny. when you think about it, it made sense. Absolutely. But
and if we could hold off a little bit on morons. Maybe we should make a list of words.
It's a family-friendly show.
Morons, dumbasses.
It really is a family-friendly show. We need to be more cognizant of that, friends. But anyways, I covet your voicemail, 325-305-6107. When I play it on a future episode, you get yourself a $25 gift card. It's a win-win, really. With all that being said...
So you ignored... you're ignoring my question.
What was your question?
Can we brew? I know you guys don't like IPAs very much.
Yes.
But can we brew a yellow rose sometime? That's my favorite IPA right now.
Well, first off,
it's so simple. It's a smash.
Okay. Well, I thought we did it before for Chub Club. We did it 1 month where we offered yellow rose or a different one. Back in the day when we were in the homebrew supply industry, we did. Yeah, we did. You want to bet $5?
On the Chub Club.
Yes, I'll bet you $5.
Okay, I'll bet you $5.
Okay. I'm not editing this out unless I lose. Okay, were you shaking? Okay, yeah, we offered the yellow rose because
I know he doesn't keep well enough records to be able to prove that. So
I do though. How dare you? How dare you? I will show you. I will collect my $5, and you can actually bring you a crisp $5 bill as you come to San Marcos.
Can we do it again? Then?
Yeah, I would love. Yeah, sure. Maybe some separation, like we could do.
I love that beer.
You're developing that brown that we're supposed to be doing soon too. We gotta hone you in.
I can't brew though for a while.
I can't stand you. You come up.
I can't brew for at least 2 or 3 weeks.
Oh yeah. You are super busy.
Yeah.
I can, but I'm brewing recipes that we already have established. Like I said,
you're brewing recipes that you always brew and never change. So yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. Hi, James. Which, by the way, before I get into the show, how you brewed, our friends at Hops Direct surprised us with a crap ton of tradition. Thank y'all so much. Our buddy Matt Crane over there. And then Imperial has sent us Fresh Harvest, and Muntins sends us lager yeast, or lager malt, pardon me. So you brewed just a straight up pills? What was it?
Yeah, just a simple pills. I used the lager malt, 27 pounds of lager malt, 3 pounds of Carahel. And I think I did 1 pound of Munich. I did 5 ounces of tradition at the 60. It was only 2.4 AA. And then I did another 3 ounces at the 15. No issues. Ended up with 1050 where I needed to be on gravity, and then got here Monday morning. It was at 10:06 finished, and no flaws. So
is it
good thing?
It was no
phenols this time.
Under pressure. And I'm gonna actually our first question of the show. We actually have something before it. I'm gonna bring up what you did for the fermentation side of things. So I'll hold off on that, but I'm glad it turned out good. So when are you kegging it, this Friday?
Yeah, I'm thinking about doing another batch of beer. So
Hey, dang.
I can keg and then do another one under pressure.
You're Todd 2.0 when you just get on the kick and you just keep going. But either way, I'm glad I'm glad that you got a brew day in. I'm glad that our sponsors were able to take care of us and get you the ingredients you need and all that. And then let me think. No, yeah, that's right. So that's all the small talk I have. But before I get into the questions,
It's time for listener feedback.
like I said, I'm not hurting for listener feedback, but at least it's good listener feedback that we've been getting in. And this week we have some from our buddy Jim from Georgia, and his feedback is on airlots and suckback.
Yeah, hey Josh, Jim from Carrollton, Georgia. Hey, today's episode on the airlock and suckback for Star Sand. James nailed it, of course, on the balloon. I think Marshall actually coined the term balloon lock, I believe maybe what he came up with. But one thing I do too, or I have done in the past when I was using carboys, was to use a one-way valve, a very low cost inline valve that would, in case it did somehow start pulling back, it wouldn't have let it, that one-way valve wouldn't allow it to suck back in. But it's going to sound gross, but I have actually bought a catheter bag on Amazon.com, and they can also be used as a more sturdy balloon, if you would say. But I would say if you use a balloon, Mylar is more recommended than the actual rubber balloons. I think some believe that oxygen can actually somehow permeate a rubber balloon. But in any case, that's my feedback for today. Keep up the great work, everybody, and take care. Bye.
Mylar bag. I like catheter better. We're going to start carrying keg connection catheters. And we're going to do. You hear me, Todd? He's not amused. I was thinking the whole time, I was like, he kind of looks like he's wearing a turtleneck, almost very Steve Jobs today, isn't he? Look at that, with very clean. And you look, yeah, very nice. Not a lot of plastic on that shirt, that's for sure. You better.
No, I don't like plastic on my shirt. Just a little tiny bit right there.
Just a little bit, yeah.
See, that's the way shirts ought to be made, right there.
Can't make me sweat
They
too
should
much.
be limited to 2% plastic.
2%. I like that. I'm going to make sure we stick to those guidelines. Anyways,
I got my Munton shirt on Kenneth gave me, so
yeah, that's clean.
thank you, Kenneth.
This is Blizzard Beer Systems. That's a good customer of ours. So
nice.
Shout out to Cleveland.
Shout out to Cleveland. Anyways, thank you, Jim, for listening or for leaving the feedback. Again, guys, when you have feedback that you'd like us to play on a future episode, call it in at 325-305-6107. And if it's, not in line with all the other hundreds of voicemail feedback that I have, you get yourself a $25 gift card when I play it on a future episode. But even better, or even more so, listen to me here. Call that same hotline, but leave a question because I'm desperate. 325-305-6107. And I play it on a future episode, probably because I'm desperate again, and get yourself a $25 gift card. Like our first question of the week. It is a voicemail, and it's from our buddy Chris from Florida.
Hey guys, this is Chris from Florida. I got a question and some feedback. So first, I guess I'll start with the feedback. I was listening to your episode, and you were talking about taking a sample or taking a reading off of a carbonated beer. And the one thing I've noticed is if you do take a sample of carbonated beer, it will throw your reading off, whether you're using an easy DINS or hydrometer or refractometer or anything. So you do probably want to decarb that. You can decarb by pouring it through a coffee filter or just by letting it sit, or even if you have the easy DINS, the little syringe, you can kind of pull air into it a bunch of times and kind of shake it up, and it'll decarb it. On to my question. I had a question about pressure fermenting. I've been pressure fermenting for a while. I've tested a bunch of different pressures out, low pressures, higher pressures, all the way up to around 40, 45 PSI. And I just want to get you guys' feedback on why you guys sit around 10 PSI, doing some reading into, tank size and hydrostatic pressure. I've noticed that the higher pressures seem to work a little better for a lot of styles. And the one thing I like is if I'm pressure fermenting 20, 25 PSI, after cold crash, I'm right in that range of, 2.5, 2.6 volumes of carbonation. So the beer is perfectly carved right after cold crash, and I don't have to worry about forced carbonating or anything. So I just wanted to get your guys' information on that. And also, pressure fermenting under pressure or under temperature, temperature for the yeast versus temperature, higher temperatures. For me, I find that pressure fermenting at the actual temperature that you're thinking you need to be at for that yeast seems to work pretty well even under pressure. So a lager at 50 degrees or so seems to work well even at 20 psi. So I just wanted to get your guys' feedback on that stuff. Good things about everyone, especially Josh, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Yeah, first off, moment of silence for the mention of Easy Dens. I think he was digging at you, Todd. That's kind of low, like if you have an Easy Dens, but then
yeah. I'll have another. I will never buy another one because I am anti Easy Dens now.
We're boycotting Anton Par.
Yeah, we're boycotting them.
I never liked the
I
Dutch.
might be a closet user at some point.
You, of course you are. You loved that when it was working. You're upset because their service sucks. Their customer service. But that's
their product's great. They just suck. So, yeah.
I love that. Anyway, I will start it off, and I'm going to throw it to James first. I do it at 10 because that's what our buddy Jonathan Marut told me. And he was just like, 10's a great one. And I've never, although we are the foremost internet experts at pressure fermentation, never looked into it beyond what Jonathan told us or whatever I hear from y'all. People, I'm a child of the internet. I spend all my time on meme threads and stuff. I'm not actually looking up useful information. That's not how I use the internet, friends. But James, this last batch. So traditionally, as we've been pressure brewing, you and I've been allowing the fermentation to make the natural pressure. My spunding valve has already been preset to 10. And so I'm letting it naturally get there. I've had great results. And like Chris said, even when I'm close to temperature, I have good results. Sometimes even more favorable results than if I'm doing it at room temp. But either way, this last batch of Pilsner, you told me you went ahead and pressurized the vessel once you had once you pitched, you close it up and you pressurize the vessel. I'm assuming to 10 because that's what we've been doing. And then that made an incredible difference in regards to you did it at room temp, and it definitely eliminated all off flavors. But what are your thoughts of why we settle at 10 and why we don't let it?
It's to me, it's just a safety thing. I don't want to be anywhere over that because if you convert to pounds per square foot, it's a lot of pressure on that lid. Now I'm sure the Spike did the research when they engineered and designed those things for pressure, but they still have what, Todd, is it a 15 PSI pop off?
15, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's 15.
I just don't, and I don't want to go any higher than 8 to 10 PSI seems to work for me, but I had an issue with off flavors on the last two batches I did. And I think I just can chalk that up to I didn't pre-pressurize. And a lot of people say you don't have to worry about that, but I'm doing lagers at room temp under pressure. And the problem that I ran into, especially with lager yeast, is it's at room temperature. There's no pressure to keep the phenols down. And so while it's building pressure, eventually it got to pressure. But I think that point where it was not pressured, the yeast was active, was eating sugars and creating all those off flavors until it pressured up. So I did that just as kind of a test, and it passed. It started at 10:50 on Friday, came here Monday, and it was at 10:06 finished. So it's cold crashing now.
Yeah, I didn't even think about the safety side of it. I know you use a CF15. I like y'all talked about. It has different rating. I want to say the Firmzilla I have is rated to 35. And someone's here right in and say it's more. Todd, can you look it up? Or I don't know what you're doing. You're on your computer.
I can look it up.
Yeah. Would you?
That's what I was actually not looking that one up. I was looking up the one I have.
Well, the CF15 is what y'all have.
No, the other one.
The Firmzilla. That's what I'm talking about. The Firmzilla.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought you had one from.
I do have one that I don't
Anvil.
use. I do, and I don't. We haven't never done it on pressure. I like the.
Oh, you haven't. Okay.
No, okay. And funny enough, Anvil is doing some discount din. All of their snub nose fermenter kings that are plastic that have bulkhead fittings for posts and all that, they all are now being advertised as not suitable for pressure. And
I would guess are they the plastic ones?
Yeah, they must be out of date, right?
They're out of date, so they just need to be hydroed, probably.
Yeah. Well,
you can do that yourself. They have
right.
Firmzilla has directions on how to do the hydro.
Well, then, they obviously, we love our friends at Blickman, so I'll give them this free promo. I think it's now through the weekend. Go to their discount den. I follow them on social media. That's where I saw it. And
it's 35 PSI.
It's for the Firmzilla, right? That's what I thought it was. Yeah. So
2.4 bar, 34.8. So yeah.
Yeah. So like you said, James, a safety thing for sure is something to consider. Now, with that being said, I wonder, and maybe this is go ahead, Todd.
It also, I remember seeing something when I first bought it about depending on the temperature, you're not supposed to. I don't remember what that was. I was trying to find it. But anyway,
I remember the temperature on the high
it says,
end.
do not put liquids inside this tank over 140 degrees.
Yep. Yeah.
It will melt the tank.
Oh, and it also says,
and don't let it get
when
below.
you do the pressure test or what I could call the hydro test, then at that point you take it up to 58 PSI.
Whee! That seems like it would, so force it to blow?
No, to see if it has any pressure stress. So if it starts leaking or something like that, then you can't use it anymore.
58 is a lot higher than 35.
It says to do it every 2 years. Well, but remember, it's a hydro test. So things that are, if you fill something full of water, it's very different when it comes apart than it is if it's filled full of air.
Oh, okay. I believe
stuff doesn't fly, I guess.
I believe you.
Best.
Yeah. I'm not super inquisitive. I believe you. Sure.
But I think you should use air in yours when you do it.
No, Pete, you know
because
what?
I know how you love pressure vessels.
You guys, well, James is literally off of socials, but Todd, you're never on yours. People enjoyed, when I was last up there and you're making me that batch of soda water for my gin and soda, I filmed a little short of me peeking out from behind your beer fridge in the background. Because that's really how it is when you're making soda up there in front of me in the 2-liter bottle. You are just so violent with the shaking. It's insane. Anyway, this is one where I just said I'd love a ton of questions. We don't need more feedback. This is one where I am curious. Maybe we need another Marut minute. He still owes us one for Todd.
He does owe us one. Well, what's your question? Maybe James or I can answer.
What benefit? How could more pressure benefit? I mean, I'm not saying all pressure is pressure, but it seems to me like what would 10 to 20, besides what he was saying, the benefits of it being even more carbonated and basically ready to serve after cold crash. That is a huge benefit, a potential benefit. But I just mean in regards to the integrity of the fermentation, I don't see how 25 to 10, I don't see how more pressure can make it any different, if that makes sense.
I don't believe in pressure fermenting, so I can't really answer the question.
That's so, I hate you, James. I mean, do you besides again,
not for any particular reason, but just because I'm a grumpy old man and I'm set in my ways.
Old man yelling at cloud. Yeah.
I don't believe in it.
I don't believe in it. The earth is flat and pressure fermentation don't matter. Anyway. I love that conspiracy. But James, I mean, I guess, you know what? When my pop and I do the pail, I will do it at 20. And then, you know what? No, I should do it with the Kolsch. And I'm not just saying that to brew another Kolsch. I'm saying so I have something to compare it to. Because me doing a style that I never brew and being like, oh, it turned out real good, is negligible if I don't know what it's tasted like when I did it at 10. So I
don't think that's a very good experiment. I mean,
or the same
there's
batch.
So many variables.
Or
if it turns out bad, you're going to be like pressure fermentation at 20.
No, you're right. Or the same batch, because I do have vessels that I could do it in the keg too. The same batch split 5 and 5, one at 10, one at 25, and then seeing what the difference would be. That would be the way to do the experiment, right? You do the same batch and split it. That way your foundation is the same. So maybe we will. I did get those things. Our buddy Tron over at Homebrewer Labs, he's going to be on the show soon. And he sent me, I had to buy one too, or I did buy one. And then he also sent me one of the Float It. I have to pronounce it right. My 12-year-old brain wants to say the last part of that. I don't want to emphasize the TIT part. It's float it, not flow that. But he sent me one, and so I can do 2 kegs with that, the floating dip tube, and I could just do them both in the keg ferment under pressure, and we could see how that turns out. We could try it. You look so bored, Todd. I'm sorry. Okay.
I'm sorry.
I think that I don't have a lot more to add to this, but he said some of these styles benefit from it. I would be interested to know what styles they think benefit from it, and then why, like the science behind it, because it just doesn't make sense to me that adding a little bit more pressure is going to benefit it beyond the carbonation level for when it's time to package and serve. That one I think is absolutely obvious, but the other benefits that could come from it, I mean,
most of the time when I have pressure fermented, but I don't do it on a regular basis. But I do pressurize my fermenter when I'm cold crashing.
You do. Yep.
And I've always had great carbonation by the time I keg it.
Y'all have always done that since y'all have had the conical fermenters too. Cause y'all, like I said, I made fun of y'all, I think last episode of not making fun of you, just pointing out one time it was a bright tank that turned into just the serving vessel. And
I had another beer out of it last night, so it may be happening right now.
See, I told you
only 4-ounce beers, but I've had a few 4-ounce beers.
And correct me if I'm wrong though. When you say you turn it up, I mean you're putting it at packaging pressures, aren't you? Putting it at 10 or
I think it's at 11.
Or 11. I mean,
right
pardon me, 11. Aren't you? You're putting it at 11, right? Because you don't force carb anymore because you don't have to.
Unless, I do use my pressure fermenter sometimes because the other one's full, but I'm usually just using it with a bubbler on there. I'm not putting it under pressure.
And you're right.
I almost always do L's in that one.
Right. And you put it in a closet that is at the correct temperature. You're not, you're not doing it at ferment. And which I will add to that too. And by saying, I know at one point the argument was, and I think Todd made the argument or the point, like, I thought doing it at pressure at room temp was to speed it up, and it wouldn't matter if we were at temperature or not, because the pressure is kind of isolating the experience in there, not the ambient temperature. To where I said, well, my room was basically at ale fermenting temps and it was under pressure and it ended up good. But I don't know if that's objectively because I did both or because it was under pressure. Like if both factors even matter, that would be also something for the Marut minute. John.
Well, I mean, why would it matter? I mean, if it's at 70, if you've got a beer that you're going to ferment and the yeast says fermented at 70 degrees or 68 degrees or whatever, why would it matter if it was under pressure?
No,
it might actually suppress some things you wanted in there for that style.
That's why I don't understand.
You wouldn't want to pressure ferment. I would think, I shouldn't make the statement because I don't know it absolutely for sure, but I would think you would not want to pressure ferment a Weiss beer or a Hefeweizen or something like that.
I would agree with that statement. But again, I don't know.
Wouldn't it not get those flavors you wanted?
I don't know. I think you're right. I think that's the reason we pressure ferment is to kill the stuff that like a wheat beer would want, the esters, the super esters, right? But yeah. Which I will say though, this last batch of Kolsch, my pop and I did under pressure. And the temperature in my office the whole time was like mid 60s because it was actually when Texas had winter for the 2 weeks we had it. And that batch turned out great. It finished. It's a little dry. I like it. It's clear. It looks way better than our current batch. I like it a lot. Maybe I'll bring you a keg.
The Kolsch does get some flavor from the yeast. Does it not affect that part of the flavor?
No, it doesn't seem to. No, that's not missing. Okay. Like you close your eyes and drink from this. It's obviously a Kolsch. It's not missing that. Yeah. Okay. But it's definitely way back in the day when we did that Kolschweizen, which my pop says he still has a bottle of it, unfortunately, for some reason. That one could have benefited from pressure for sure, probably. But anyways, thank you so much, Chris, for submitting the question. This is one that does yield probably a lot of feedback. If you're at youtube.com/homebrew happy hour, please leave it in the comments below because that does help us with the algorithm as well as hitting like, subscribing to the channel, blah, 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 blah. I'm supposed to do that more. Or you could call it in to 325-305-6107. And if it is really good on this topic, I will play it on a future episode and get yourself a $25 gift card to KegConnection.com. Alternatively, If you text that same hotline and I use your text on a future episode, you still get yourself a $15 gift card, which I think is pretty stinking good. Like our buddy Alan did, and he wrote in saying, "Hey, Joshua, thanks for getting my shirt and swag out so quick. My wife loves the shirt." It was the Alt Pokal shirt, Todd. The Alt Pokal shirt, loves it.
No, now we know why you took this one.
Quick question, maybe good for the podcast. What causes regulators to slowly increase PSI on their own? I have an old Kedco knob adjustment regulator that doesn't hold my set PSI very long before going up a point or two. What does the hive mind think? Thank you. They were great shirts. That's all I'm saying. And thank you, Alan, and your wife for enjoying the shirt. Regulator
They
creep.
must live up north where it's not ever hot.
They must just love plastic. They probably buy six packs and throw it in the river.
Yeah, they probably cut
They hate turtles.
sleeves and trash bags and wear them too.
Sleeves and trash bags. Hey, don't make fun of my shirts. Anyway, to James, no offense, I'm going to throw it to Todd because
Oh, that's definitely a Todd.
I did not understand the brand of the regulator. I'm sorry.
Kedco is
Kedco. Okay,
yeah.
I know what that is.
I
yeah.
think you actually have one on y'all's desk out there on the workstation.
We do,
Either way, not throwing them under the bus, but there has been in the past some issues with some imported regulators from China that were either not very safe to use or they creeped a lot. And I can say that in confidence because when Todd was developing the CMB, and this isn't an advertisement just for CMB, I promise. Taproot makes great regulators too. There are great regulators out there on the market. But when
Cornelius, there's a ton of great regulators.
But when you were developing the CMB one specifically, I'm saying I saw you test every brand ever created under the sun and every version of the CMB one under the sun to make sure it was accurate and it held. That was like you put it through the ringer for those two things. So I'm going to throw it to you because, like James said, this is the epitome of like a Todd Burns question. What causes regulators to creep? And does that mean that regulator is done for? Or is there something you can do to stop the creep and continue using the existing regulator you've already purchased?
I am Googling something because I don't know if they offer a rebuild kit for that. They do offer a rebuild kit for that. So it's probably has a bad cartridge, an internal part called a cartridge. That particular brand of regulator I have dealt with a lot and tested more than once, and it does tend to have those creeping issues. So I don't know that I would spend the money to rebuild it or just get a different regulator. Is probably me personally. I would get a different regulator. That regulator is not unsafe though. I think it's a safe regulator. And when it's when they're working, they're working. When they're not, they're not. But it's almost always a cartridge that's going bad, and a regulator like that. It could also be there's a diaphragm, and there could be something in the diaphragm that's letting a little bit of air out. I don't know if you've got any bubbles coming out of what's called the weep hole. It's a little hole somewhere on the regulator that will allow air to escape, so you don't have a high pressure situation in it. So, I don't know. It's yes, you could rebuild it. That would be the only solution.
Yeah, if you were intent on keeping your existing regulator, you'd look to see if that brand had a rebuild kit. That is the first thing you do, right? I don't know of newer brands that exist that don't have rebuild kits. And in fact, not that it's super common. I'm not trying to subvertly throw Taproot under the bus as much as I'm saying we've carried their rebuild kits for a while and we sell them pretty.
Oh, well, Taproot's been making regulators for a very long time. So you're going to have cartridges and diaphragms fail over time, no matter what the brand is. It's, they make a very good regulator. Yep. It's just that
wear and tear.
Eventually you're going to have to rebuild a regulator if you own it long enough. I've seen regulators go more than 10 years and not need to be rebuilt. And I've seen where they needed to be rebuilt in 3 or 4 years. It just happens.
Wear and tear. That's like expecting your O-rings on your keg to last you forever. You have to do maintenance on things. If I'm not a gearhead like Mr. Carlson, but I even understand my car has to have routine maintenance done to it, or it's going to be a bad day. I can't ride on the same thing of oil for. That wasn't your person, James. That was Todd. That was a Todd story. Wasn't it some lady who was it a rodeo or a Jeep Patriot where they?
Yeah. She drove it. She went in. I made her go to Walmart and get an oil change in college because she had over 50,000 miles on it and had never changed the oil.
Damn.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
The guy literally came out and he said, I don't know what's wrong, but somebody didn't put oil in there because it's just coming out like grease. I mean, it's a great view. That's a great engine, by the way.
Yeah, I was going to say,
an engine.
That was at the rodeo or the Patriot? It was. I forget
No, it was.
It was an Isuzu, right? Rodeo.
Isuzu, yeah,
That's
rodeo,
right, yeah. I had an Isuzu rodeo. What a great advertisement for Isuzu rodeos! Like, let your college age woman in your life drive it for 50,000 miles.
Did you just say that?
Yeah, that was the story that you told. It doesn't have to be woman. Golly.
You made it sound like
I'll edit that out. I will not. I did want to add, though, to this because I've actually had a handful of people ask this before.
I just want to say that James and I do not approve of this sexist type comments. So 2/3 of this show does not approve of that kind of comment. So I just want to get that out there.
The two white men trying to tell the Latino how he not. See how I turn it around?
Oh, you're going to pull that card.
Uno reverse. Uno because I'm Mexican, or my mom is. Anyway, I did want to add this before moving on because I have gotten this question a few times, and it's not really a question for the show as much as people write into me and asking retail questions. They use the same hotline sometimes. I welcome it, actually. You can text 325-305-6107 for help at catconnection.com. And I'm so addicted to my cell phone, I will answer it and I will help you. I always have it on me. But anyway, people have asked, the Catco, the appeal, not only does it normally come with the kits on that website, Todd, so people get it. It's not that they're choosing it. It's the default. But one of the perks I have had people say when I've been telling them about the CMB one, like, well, I really like the knob. It's just super easy to use. And the one on CMBs, we did make a video for when people buy it. They have a QR code. They can scan it to see how to adjust it. But it is straightforward and simple. But can you explain why you did the locking nut screw adjustment as opposed to like a bonnet pop out or the knob thing that some other brands do?
Well, as much as I love Taprites, and I really do. I think it's a good company. That regulator that adjusts for the knob, the one thing that does break on it is the knob sometimes when you're pulling it out, moving it. And they also still make a version that doesn't have that knob. And the ones that you adjust with a screw are basically just, I mean, they're indestructible. I mean, they're so strong. I mean, the only thing that can happen with any of them is usually just that cartridge or that diaphragm. That's, 99% of the time when one's not working properly, that's a problem. But with a Taprite, it's probably of the ones that we get back or not get back, but we get a call or somebody has a warranty issue or even out of warranty issue. It's a lot of the times it's that knob. It strips out.
Yeah. We actually had to do a video.
We just decided that it would have actually been in a lot of ways easier for us to do that type of a knob because that's a lot of what we do at the factory in Germany is injection molding. And, so we do a lot of injection molding. We do a lot of heavy duty plastic parts, but we just decided that we really wanted to have that piece of metal and that you adjust it with a screwdriver. And we also have a lock on it. So you can lock it down so people don't mess with it if it's just sitting in a bar or something. But the lock does cause some confusion sometimes because people don't realize you have to unscrew it to adjust it. So we actually just put a QR code on the back of them recently that goes and shows people how to adjust it. So when you get the regulator, you can scan that QR code and it gives you directions on how to adjust it.
And I will add too, we did a video, James and I, for the Taprite bonnet replacing it a few years ago. But mostly too, just to show to people because we're not trying to talk ourselves out of sales. all these things are workable, right? Like you can replace them. You don't like with the CMB faucets, James, you've had a bunch of those stories where people will be like, we need brand new ones. It's been like 12 years. You're like, well, or just a rebuild kit. It's like a fraction of the cost of new stuff. When people, like you said, Todd, there might be some brands that I wouldn't necessarily pour money and effort into, but you get yourself a Taprite one at home. You got yourself the CMB. They're workable. It's not just, it's great.
And the CMB also has a 5-year warranty.
It does. Yeah.
And we do the manufacturer warranty on a Taprite's 2 years. Is 1 year, but we actually do a 2-year in-house warranty. We extend their warranty by an additional year.
Yeah, exactly. Because one, most of the time you're not going to have them worked on, but we believe in the products that much. But either way, Alan, thank you so much for submitting that. A reminder, when you text 325-305-6107, you get yourself a $15 gift card to KegConnection.com, or even better, you got a great question, you want some money to KegConnection.com, call it in to 325-305-6107. Leave your voicemail. It's so good. I'm like, I'm not desperate. That's a good question. And I play it on a future episode. You get yourself a $25 gift card. Like our third and final question of the week is from our buddy Chris from Colorado.
Hey, this is Chris Young from Colorado Springs, Colorado. And my question is on the Brautag. I only brew 5-gallon batches. And I know what Todd's going to say. It's just as much work for 15, but I really prefer 5 gallons. I have a spike conical and an SS Brewtech Unitank. I could totally do 10 gallons and split it up between the two, but typically only do 5 gallons. My question is can I do 5-gallon batches in the Brautag? I love the price, but just not sure. 20 gallons makes sense. So thank you. Bye.
20-gallon kettles. The most I've ever seen is Mr. Burns 17.5-gallon batches. But just to
I've done 18.
I have too.
Have y'all really? Okay. Either way, to the point though, he's asking, not is it possible on every Herm system? That's why in the title I had to say Brautag, because these are our in-house, we handmade them. I think the answer is no, because of virtue of where the elements are and all that. But could you technically, James? Could you do it?
Technically you could, but you might have a little hard time. The problem is there's a little bit of waste. What would you say, Todd? 1 or 2 quarts of waste?
Yeah. So you'd probably, what you'd want to do is do a 6-gallon batch and then keep about 5 gallons of it, because I honestly don't know. I've never tried.
And you're not gonna. You won't.
Yeah, but I would just tell you, I would put it to you this way. 5 gallons, yes, technically you could do a 5-gallon batch. You'd have to account for, I think I measured it one time, and it was like, there's like not quite 2 quarts of waste wort. Unless you tip it, and try to get as much as you can do that. But why not just do 10 gallons?
Well, yeah,
10 gallons all day long.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to do 10, but I don't know. I always tip mine and get that part out, but you got to be careful, because you start getting crap in there, as you know, very well know. That's the reason we don't try to keep it all. But that's also the beauty of the system, is you're doing that whirlpool, and you're putting all that stuff in the center, so that when you do tip it, if you're real careful, it'll kind of go around and you can still get more out. I don't know if you would have as much waste if you only did 5, because you'd only have a third the waste technically. So maybe you could get your waste down a little bit, but all in all, I would probably brew slightly bigger batch, and just so you can capture 5 gallons. When I say I would never actually brew 5 gallons on there, but
well, yeah, I think you said you, and you meant the proverbial you, like everyone but you, Todd Burns. Yeah. I don't even know the last time. I think the last time I saw you brew a 5-gallon batch was in San Marcos, the house off of.
No, we did one. We did one for a video on how to do. That
was an extract though.
How to do extract.
But you know what? You're right. The one I was going to say that you did in San Marcos, that was also extract. That was all. We did it on your stovetop there the house off Franklin. We did a video. Remember, we actually bought a stove. Yeah.
And and built it out so we could do it in the center.
Do you
of the
still have that
room,
stove?
I do. Yeah.
We should repurpose that for something. That was cool. It runs off of, I forget, it runs
Dude,
off
I could take it up to the pool. We need a stove at the pool. I guess.
That's not a bad idea. It's
No.
mobile. I think you even put it on casters, didn't you?
Yep.
Dang.
No, well, it's in a cabinet. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, no, I thought it had, how did we get it in and out? We just carried it?
It may have casters, but it's also built into a cabinet.
It's built into a cabinet, right? But I thought the whole thing was on casters because I don't remember picking it up.
At it 3 years. I'd have to go look at it.
You'd have to go look at it. But
anyway,
but
it doesn't really matter. I don't know how we got to talking about stoves.
You fell for my tactics. It's my voodoo. This is what I'm good at. Look over here. Chris's question, to answer it as literally as possible. Yes, you could brew 5 gallons on it. Or like they're saying, 5.5, 6 gallon batch. That way, when it comes time to packaging, you're actually yielding a full keg of beer. Yeah, out of your fermenter. But he answered his question. I know what Todd's going to say. It's just as much work.
No, I always feel like when people ask that question, I feel like maybe they have a bit of a drinking problem.
They don't drink enough.
Exactly. A lack of a drinking problem.
Yeah. Why don't you drink
more?
more?
I would say a drinking problem. They don't drink enough. Yeah.
Anyway, well, I will say this too. They are at great pricing because they're it's like blowout sale on them, and I don't think we have very much to sell. So if you were thinking about it, get it over at kegconnection.com. Our February 15 is done, but we still have. If you're a member of the Chub Club, you depending on what tier you're at, you get as high as 12% off your order. All the time, use the code HHH, gets you 5% off your order, and that stats on top of certain deals on the site. So we're always running stuff. Go to kegconnection.com. Sign up for the newsletter is your best bet, actually, if you really want to know what we're doing, or follow us on social media. Or if you're don't use the interwebs at all, then just keep tuning into the podcast, and I'll keep doing my salesman pitch. We can do whatever works for you. Anyway, Chris, thank you so much for submitting that question, fellas. That's all I have for this week. I greatly appreciate y'all's time, and especially doing it earlier in the week, because I didn't want, as much as I love excluding Todd from these things, he was actually, people would be beginning to wonder if I would keep him off for 3 weeks. They'd be like, okay, what's really going on, Josh? So, Mr. Burns, I'm glad you could accommodate. James, thank you so much for stepping away from real work. And then, guys, I will catch y'all soon.
Thank you.
And that will do it for this episode of the Homebrew Happy Hour. If you have a question you'd like us to discuss on a future episode, go to homebrewhappyhour.com and click on that submit a question link at the top of the page. Or even better, leave us a voicemail at 325-305-6107 and get yourself a $25 gift card to kegconnection.com. Thank you to our show sponsors like Muntins Malt, premium grains for a better brew day. If you aren't already brewing with Muntins, give them a try by joining a recipe receiving tier of our Chub Club. For the best hops available online, give our friends at hopsdirect.com a visit and pick up what you need for your next brew day. Also, get a pack of Imperial yeast along with premium recipes from us when you join the Chub Club. Go to patreon.com/homebrew happy hour and come brew with us. On behalf of Todd Burns, James Carlson, and the Pearl Media Network, I'm Joshua Stubing. Thank you for listening.